my God, the energy there is incredible. Hi, everyone. Thank you. Wow, that was quite an introduction. I don't think I've ever had an introduction like that. So my name is Scott Neitlich, originally from Connecticut, spent the last 25 years in California, and then escaped to Greensboro, which I'm so happy about. Tar Heels. What a great state. Okay. Oh, go forward? No? There we go. Okay. I think that was the introduction slide. I think we can pass that one. So my name is Scott Neitlich. What I do professionally is for the last 25 years, I've been a marketing manager and product designer. Spent 5 years in pharmaceutical marketing. I can tell you more about glaucoma than you ever wanted to know. And then I was very lucky enough to let my passions lead me to a career in the toy industry, where I spent about 10 years at Mattel and then some smaller companies. Now I have my own company, Spectre Creative, LLC, headquartered in my toy room in Greensboro, where I offer branding, marketing, trade show solutions, what else is up there, e-commerce. But uniquely, what I think I offer that almost no one else is it's that unique connection between consumer and product and service, and unlocking that emotional connection. That's really been the key to, personally, my success. And currently, I offer my services freelance to a variety of clients, honestly, around the world. In fact, one of my clients is in the room, which was fantastic. So, blank slide? Yeah, oh, that's right. Okay, so what I'm talking about today, so why did everyone answer all those questions about toys, etc.? Adults who buy toys? What? Aren't toys for kids? Well, if you're anything like I know I am, you have a room like this at home, much to my wife's chagrin. So adult toy collecting has been a hobby that has emerged in the last 20 years or so, and there's a lot of reasons for it. And understanding it emotionally, combining that with a business acumen, is what leads to success in this market. And what's made me unique, does everyone remember the old Hair Club for Men ads from the 80s? I know I'm aging myself here. All right. The whole idea of Hair Club for Men, their positioning in the market was the president would say, I'm not only the president, but I'm also a member. I don't think I need Hair Club for Men yet. But as a marketing brand manager on toy lines, I am also a collector, and that has given me a very unique emotional connection and really driven my career, because honestly, I'll tell you, I've been working at Mattel for 10, 11 years. Way too many suits, not enough Geppettos. Not enough people that truly understand, not just, I'm going to be talking about adult collecting, but kid collecting too. It's astonishing. All right. So obviously as a child, we all have our, I think I wrote Greedo is my favorite toy, but Stratos is on my head there. So yeah. Obviously, as children, we're all playing with toys, but for me, it kind of never stopped. In college, here I am, sneaking out at midnight to buy action figures for the new Star Wars movie. Somehow I wound up on the front of the Simi Valley Star. But I was able to then, after my undergraduate degree in communication and film studies, I was hired by Mattel, and my passions led me to running a line that was aimed at taking properties I bought as an adult, He-Man, and now offering it to adults. And along the way, I have met so many of my heroes. I have met sexy people, old people. I have had an unbelievable time, but it's all been because I'm combining this love I had for toys, but also thinking about it from a business perspective. So why do adults buy toys? Not supposed to buy them for their kids. 3 main reasons. 1, treasure. Everybody loves something that's valuable. And a lot of toys have super limited runs, which make them hard to find. Maybe there's only 5 of them out there. Maybe there's only 5,000. Either way, that's the motivator number 1. Number 2 is to commemorate something you've done, like going to a convention. San Diego Comic-Con is next week. I won't be there, but I've been there for about 30 years. And at shows like this, they sell exclusive product that people will buy and often resell immediately on things like eBay or Etsy because it commemorates getting out to this event. It's like going to a Super Bowl and getting, the shirt that says who the champions are. And then, of course, and this is actually my collection, is people who want to build a specific set. So I'm a big fan of X-Men from the 1990s, and I like buying action figures that make me remember how much I loved this comic as a kid. And people will buy very specific sets. So you can see there all those arrows and those photos represent characters that I'm waiting to add to my collection, that I'm waiting for toy companies to make, but I know one day they will, and so I can have that complete set. So that's the other reason people want what I call a full shelf. All right, so getting into the emotional connection. The three main reasons are acquisition, control, and a sense of childhood achievement. So what do I mean by the three of those things? Well, accomplishment, most people who are toy nerds like myself, we didn't really have too many sports trophies growing up. I think I had a couple of participation trophies. I had like a karate second place. But I have an entire shelf of X-Men toys. Control. Same thing. With toys, most of them, action figures specifically, dolls, Hot Wheels, you are taking something from the real world or from comic books, TV, and you are placing it on your desk, your shelf. It's creating what's called permanence because you can physically pick it up, handle it, pose it, articulate it, put it exactly the way you want. Suddenly, if you own a Spider-Man toy and you put it on your desk, let's say squaring off against your pencil jar, you made that. You controlled Spider-Man. This character, and whoever, Spider-Man, Darth Vader, Batman, Power, whoever it is, you are, having the ability to take that product that has now become physical and put it on your desk, you now have control over it. And something that is out of control, you now can feel, again, a sense of accomplishment over that. And then finally, sense of, from your childhood, we all got allowances. You could probably afford to buy one or two figures or cars or dolls, but as an adult, you have the ability, if your wife will let you, to buy whatever you want. So, or husband or significant other. So toy collecting, whether it's physical or even it works digitally too, it's about feeling that sense that I may not have, all these sports trophies. I may be living by myself. I may not have a significant other. Maybe I'm in my mom's basement, but I have a toy collection and it may be the best thing about my life and it makes me happy. It's tapping into that emotional connection that drives sales. All right. Anyone recognize the characters here? Wonder Twins, powers activate, form of, Charlotte Creative. All right. So this was a toy that we did for San Diego Comic-Con. I mentioned doing product that commemorates being at an event. Now, one of the unique things about this set, it involved two different superheroes, boy and a girl, twins, and there was a little pet monkey named Gleek. There's a blue monkey there. Now, the way this worked is I worked with a cross-functional team, sculptors, toy designers, package designers. This toy actually has lights and sounds that when you open it up, it has a recording from the TV show, from the animated series where they say that. Wonder Twin powers, activate, form of, and et cetera, et cetera. So there's a lot. So this was done as a convention piece, a higher priced item, a treasure hunt item. But to really drive publicity, the monkey was not available. Couldn't get the monkey. You could only get the monkey if you bought it and walked up to me at the booth, showed me your product, and then I gave you the monkey. Not everyone at the show got it. And by the end of the show, the Gleek in a poly bag was selling for $200 on eBay. A lot of fans were upset about this, saying, well, I now can't have my complete collection. Why was this incredibly successful? Because everybody was talking about it. The amount of publicity that this created by pulling back one of the little, the sidekick character, if you will, it took this set and it created more media impressions and more publicity for Mattel for that show than Barbie and Hot Wheels combined. the managers came up to me after, they were so angry. Not because, but because I outdid Barbie. We weren't supposed to do that. Barbie was supposed to be the winner for the show. And we just blasted it out of the water simply by having a program to give away the sidekick. Knowing to do that comes from growing up, reading comic books, watching TV shows, but also from understanding the business aspect. I have my MBA from UNCG, went back to school after moving here from California, but understanding the business side of this is what led to the success. All right, one more example. Anyone recognize this thing? What is it? Castle Grayskull. Okay, we just did that Motu line, Snout Spout, Ganja Man. So that was actually the line that I ran at Mattel. And what you're looking at here, this is He-Man's castle, his house. This is Barbie dream house for boys. So actually, quick little incident, when Barbie had like her 50th or some anniversary while I was at Mattel, and they took all of the Barbie dream houses and they had them in the lobby on display. And I took Castle Grayskull and just put it down next to them and left it there for a week to see if anyone would notice. No one did. Okay, they just thought it was like a green Barbie dream house or something. So the way we did this is when we sold this in 2012, I think, yeah. And back then it was $250 online. But in order to, but it cost about $350 million to produce. And that was not something that Mattel was going to fork over the money to sell to adults. That was a huge investment. So what we had to do was create an entirely new distribution strategy. Normally, products are sold to retail, and retailers buy in. They'll see one wave of product, knowing that all year they're going to get, fulfillment, and they buy in, and that is the security for a company to produce something. For Castle Grayskull, we based on nostalgia and people wanting to have the ultimate He-Man item, that ultimate treasure piece to put in their house. Knowing so many people were emotionally connected to it from their childhood, what we did is we created a cardboard bottle and a drawing. Very inexpensive. Put it online, went to these conventions, spoke just like I'm doing today. That was actually when we revealed it, was at Comic-Con, and then we had a little meter. And we told everyone that unless we have to sell X amount of pre-sales to fund this. And we did. We successfully funded it online. And that, the whole program was designed to connect with consumers. It was about a 2-3 month sell-in process. And I was going on podcasts and I mean, it was literally basically any way that I could pimp this online, convincing enough people. I think we had to have like 10,000 pre-buys or something like that. And we did it. We really involved the fans and made them part of it. So as an example, this is the box. If you pre-ordered it, you were part of a, contest isn't the right word, but we allowed everyone who pre-ordered it to select the characters that were going to be in the artwork. So they had like 200 choices of characters that could be on the box front fighting. And if you pre-ordered it, you got to participate and check off the 10 out of the 200 you wanted. And then we had the art created based on the results. So it was all about not just providing a product, but the entire experience was about connecting with the consumer on all levels. They felt that they were part of the process. This toy wasn't going to happen without them, which was true. But going above and beyond and having them select things like the box art, it made the fans feel like they weren't just sitting there in the shadows, but they were actually part of the overall process, which to say that connects emotionally is off the scale. And then product shipped and everyone got to be king of Castle Grayskull. And sit their characters and rule the throne. And I mean, how cool do you feel when you have your own castle? All right, so I wanted to leave time for questions, especially because I actually have a 10 o'clock meeting, unfortunately, that I have to head out for after this. But I did leave a stack of my business cards on the table, so please do grab one, because anyone here who has branding needs, marketing needs, consumer outreach. Also, I have a very, very proud of it, an amazing YouTube channel that I actually started during COVID from boredom. It's my company, Spectre Creative. I saw this morning, I am at 31,952, which means I need 48 people in this room to subscribe to my channel to get me to 32,000 even. So that's my thank you to all of you is to subscribe to my channel. But I have about 1,500 videos, and they're about connecting with the consumer, understanding the aspects of retail and logistics that take to produce a product like this. It's not just as simple as like, oh, I want a He-Man toy, I want a Barbie. You have to think about things like, how is it going to hang at retail? Who's going to make it? What price points are you going to hit? So that's what my channel's been dedicated to, and it's, I think, very unique, and I've got a lot of positive feedback, mostly from Tim, about how my channel is very different from most other YouTube channels about this sort of niche industry, where most of them are run by hobbyists who think that they know everything about the industry because they've been collecting toys for 20 years. But they have never produced anything or worked for, a company, etc. There's a lot of armchair generals out there. And my channel's been a big disruptor in that sense, that I'll come in and be like, no, you, Mr. Fansite, who put together a wish list a month ago asking for this figure to come out, and then seeing it come out and taking credit for that. This figure was planned 3 years ago, dude. Like, the production cycle is a lot longer than your little survey. So those are the kind of things that I mean, not in a negative way, but I'm trying to enlighten. And I've had a lot of success with that. How are we doing on time for questions? Tim, or we're 5 minutes? Awesome. Perfect. So, yes. Sorry, with who? Before they sold to Disney? Short answer is no. I didn't work on Marvel product till after the Disney acquisition. But I worked extensively with Marvel, Lucasfilm, and for years, Warner Brothers and DC. Yes? Well, the first time I met, I've actually been fortunate to work with him on a few projects. And the first time I met him, I remember he said, I had said to him, like, wow, that he was actually at Mattel for a completely unrelated project. And my boss was nice enough to grab me because he knew I would love meeting Stan. He's like, Scott, like, can I borrow you for a meeting? I'm like, yeah, I don't have anything on my schedule. Just come into this conference room with me. And I walk in, I'm like, there's Stan Lee. That was the first time I met him. And I told him, what an influence he was. He's like, oh, great, you're going to blame me for everything. Any other questions? I've got microphones. Yeah, right here. I'll get you over there in a second.
Hi there, I love this. My daughter's out of college. She's got such a collection of toys, and I don't understand why. So I just wanted to see what you think about all the Barbie stuff. It's such a phenomenon right now. So are they doing a good job, or what do you think?
The Barbie stuff, like, meaning the movie?
Yeah, like with all the promos that go. I mean, the toy, and I also read that Mattel has 45 new movie ideas based around toys.
Some of them will work, some won't. Yeah, I mean, so we have a term in the toy industry called toyetic. And it's when a property works for both content and will translate into consumer product. So something like, an action figure or a superhero who naturally, like Spider-Man, right? Shoots little webs out of his hand. Very toyetic, right? He does something a kid would want to do. So now we're in a phase where they're going in reverse, and they're taking the toy properties and turning them into movies. It doesn't work. Go watch Battleship. It's kind of like force feeding it backwards, I find. I mean, maybe it will be phenomenal, but from my experience, Transformers worked because it worked internationally. It was a bunch of robots smashing into each other with very little dialogue, which is why it made so much money overseas, because you don't need to know English. I obviously haven't seen the Barbie movie, but I think it's funny that it's literally the same exact plot as the 1987 He-Man movie. He-Man wakes up, goes to the real world, saves it, comes back. With Courtney Cox and a cow. And he drives around in a pink car. So the Barbie movie will probably be very similar, except Courtney Cox won't be in it.
Hey, I wanted to talk about one thing and add to what you're saying. But one of my most memorable experience with toys, games, whatever, was traveling, backpacking through Europe for 4 months. Couldn't speak any language. absolutely no aptitude for that. But what got me through Europe was games like chess, charades, and Pictionary. I could talk to anybody. I'm on trains for 3 days getting from Athens, Greece to Paris. And we're in a car, in a cab with about 8 other people crammed in there. No way to communicate with all these other people. And so I pull out a chess game. And all of a sudden we had a contest going. And all 8 of us in the cab, 3 days, we're having a contest of chess. And then we're also, the guy from Croatia, he pulls out a bottle of vodka. And we're all chugging and going around the room. It was one of my most memorable ways to communicate, toys being the communicator. So I just wanted to lay that out for you.
Yeah, toys, alcohol, that's gonna. But yeah, I'm also a huge chess fan. Love playing chess. And it is amazing. I mean, that's one of the great things is, yeah, it breaks the language barrier. And I love actually that we did this as the introduction. Everyone wrote down their favorite toy. I was actually mentioning to Tim earlier, that's what I use every time I do an icebreaker, is I ask everyone to go around and say what their favorite toy was growing up. Because it instantly puts you in a happy mood. It instantly connects you. It's like, oh yeah, I had that toy too, a skip it, a hula hoop, I remember that. Teddy Ruxpin gave me nightmares. So yeah, that is one of the reasons that kids and adults are never gonna not need toys. No matter how many phones and TikToks and tablets you put in our hands, physical play, games, especially toys that you interact, puzzles, art toys, so important, so important.
I know Scott has a 10 o'clock phone call, so we're going to wrap it up here, but let's give it up for Scott Neitlich.
Thank you. So yeah, thank you very much. You can find me online at spectorcreative.com, as well as on Twitter and especially YouTube. So check it out. My direct contact is on the website, but I left a giant stack of cards there on the table. Please do take one. Drop me a line. I'd love to talk to anyone in this room about your creative needs, or if you just want to talk about He-Man's haircut, that's cool too.
That's okay too. Well, thank you so much, Scott. We really appreciate you.
Thank you. Nice.
And I feel inspired around, assembling teams of creatives around a vision. I mean, that is something that's applicable to all of us. And the big takeaway for me is toys and alcohol. I mean, that's a Friday night for me.
That's every night.
That's every night. Folks, a few final notes here. And the first is, be sure to speaking of commemorating an event,
What?
right? We have 75 free posters commemorating our theme of treasure. Thank you, Boingo Graphics, for printing this for us.
Beautiful.
And the artist behind, the designer behind this particular poster is Jessica Franco, who is a UNC Charlotte student.
Go Niners!
Right? So we love tying in Charlotte any way we can.
That's why I'm here.
So those are at the table back there. Grab one if you'd like and commemorate this morning. It could be a treasure.
Absolutely. Treasure.
It could be a treasure.
Where are we up next to?
So first of all, let me just say that if you want to hear more from Scott, Tim will be interviewing him on our podcast, the Charlotte's Creative Podcast, which is produced by the Queen City Podcast Network. You can find it anywhere you find your podcasts, or you could scan that and it takes you right to the podcast landing page. So we will be posting that in the coming weeks here. If you want to join our volunteer team, please see Jennifer Wozniak,
Please do.
who is the woman with the golden hair, and there she is holding that poster
In the purple shirt.
So you could talk to her if you want to join our volunteer team, or just reach out to us directly. Our next event, Michelle asked, it is going to be August 8th, so not too long from now, right?
8th?
A few weeks. Sorry, August 4th.
That's
My apologies.
There you go.
Friday, August 4th
I
at
got you.
Camp North End. And we are going to be featuring the one and only Will White, who is an incredible fashion designer here in Charlotte.
Absolutely.
And he is amazing, and he is going to be diving into the
Camp
theme
North
of
End is
pride.
lit.
Yeah,
I'm ready.
it's going to be great. What? Oh, yes. Tim wants to say one more thing,
Of
which
course
is
he does.
predictable, right? That's usually
Let's
what
do it.
happens, is at the last minute. He wants to say one more thing. By the way, when you leave, there is a staircase. If you don't want to wait for the elevator, there's a staircase right past the elevators that you can use. Go.
All right. Aaron, where are you? Where's Aaron? Aaron, come up here, please. Please. Guys, I hope you were here to see him. We have known this man for a long time. I'm going to come out from the mic stand. Aaron, how old were you when you first came to Creative Mornings?
I believe I was either 10 or 11 years old.
10 or 11, and that's after we met him on the sidewalk selling his bracelets. And we were excited to invest a hug grant in him and have been just blown away. He was, at 10 years old, one of the more accomplished and professional creatives that we'd ever met. And I couldn't let today go without you knowing how proud we are of you, how amazing you are, and just we can't wait to see what the next 6 years bring you. So thank you for being part of our community.
Thank you. Thank you. I just want to say it really has been a pleasure, to know Tim, and can't even say it all, really. But honestly, I really wonder where these years are going to take me as well. Business ventures. Right now, I'm learning coding. I want to create my own game. It's really been a pleasure here, to be in front of you all and to have this moment. And really, really thankful for it. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Aaron.
Shout out to his mom, Amy. And if you want to code, I'm going to point you at the Method guys right there. Those guys, they may well be your future colleagues. So go meet them. But
that's right. They're luring you in. You see that? There it is.
Yeah. Sorry to hog the microphone, but I did not know Aaron was coming, and we could not let this opportunity pass without thanking you for coming back.
Y'all, thanks for joining us. Yes. Aaron's company name. What's the name of your bracelet company?
Anderberry Bracelets.
Anderberry Bracelets. There you go.
Wait, did I get it right, Aaron? I did. All right. That's how good the branding is.
We will send out an email with a link to his stuff. Yeah, we will.
Yeah.
Folks, thanks for spending the morning with us, kicking off the weekend. And we hope you have an incredible rest of July. We can't wait to see you on August 4th at Camp North End, and we love you all. So go out there and create treasures of your own. Thanks, y'all.